Alright, Shalom, Kwahala, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rukwakwadush. Double honors to the head apostles of Great Millstone, Will. Peace and salutations to the Yakim out there on the highway and byways that's doing this work diligently, faithfully all around the world. So I'm just going to get into Matthew's, the 13th chapter. And it's going to be called that, for it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. Who is this word given unto? To know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. The elect. Because this word is not for everybody to get. And this is a prime example of it right here, when the great multitude were gathered around Yahushua back in his time when he was on the earth. And they wanted to hear what Yahushua had to say, but mainly Yahushua spoke to him in parables and dark sayings, so they wouldn't get this, And let me just jump right into it, for without further ado. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 13, verse 1. The same day when Yahushua out of the house, the same day went Yahushua out of the house and sat by the sea side, and a great multitude were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. And he spoke many things unto them in parables, saying, Behold, a sower went forth to sow. And when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and the fowls came and devoured them up. Some fell on stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of the earth. Really, when you really read this parable here, it's talking about, a great multitude. Really, when you read this parable, Salakia, I'm repeating myself, but when you read the parable in this fourth verse right here, it says some fell by the wayside, meaning that, that people that walk by us, they just can't get this word. They just can't get it, They see it, but they just can't understand or perceive, to understand this word. Then if you read, when I just read the 5th verse, where it says, verse 5, some fell upon stony places where they had much earth, or forthwith they sprung up, because they had no deepness of the earth. Meaning that, there's somebody will get this word that will come in for a short time. They'll be in this thing, they'll be on fire for a short time, because they weren't grounded in this thing, because their foundation wasn't grounded, wasn't deeply rooted in this truth. They end up falling out eventually, And verse 6, and when the sun was up, they were scorched, because they had no root. They withered away. You see? So what does the sun represent? The scorch of the sun. That represents the tribulation, the hardness of this truth. Where you have to, go through much sorrow being in this truth, because you don't have that deeply rooted foundation. You end up falling out, Verse 7, some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. Which means that, they were choked by the world. At the end of the day, they wanna go out and enjoy the world. They want to enjoy the pleasures of this world. They want to enjoy this and that. Just a prime example, the Elder Adama, back years ago, and I witnessed this myself when he was teaching when he was teaching the word to this nigga, he was all into it at first. Yeah, it was a good idea, but then he wanted to venture out. He wanted to prosper at the same time as being in this truth, which we told him that it doesn't go that way. You can't, you know, you can't have one foot in the world and then have another foot in the truth. You can't be in between. You got to suffer for this truth, and you may have to lose. And he told him he may have to lose his family. Once he heard that, that's when he didn't want nothing to do with this truth, you know. So that's just the cold hard truth when you in this truth. So verse 7, I'm gonna read it again. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. But others fell into good ground and brought forth fruit, some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. That's brothers that come in and that's deeply rooted in this truth, which is the elect, you know, hands down, which is the elect that's talking about here in verse 8, you know. Who have ears to hear, let them hear. So this is what the disciples asked Yahushua, you know. And the disciples came on and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? And this is what Yahushua said. He answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given, which is the elect. It is only given unto the elect to understand the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given. See? So the elect is gonna get this truth. Nobody outside of the truth has the truth, which people like to claim that they have the truth or know that they have the truth. But ultimately they don't have the truth, because you ask any of these, jakes out here that claim to be in the truth, that claim to know about the Lord. You ask them what the Lord's name is. They will say Jesus Christ, which is not his name. Or they won't be teaching the prophecies, concerning the scriptures. They'll teach God is love, 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 but yet they won't teach that the Most High hates. They don't teach about the Most High, hates, or the Most High's judgment, or what's to come in the near future for America. They won't even mention that America will be destroyed by way of thermonuclear destruction. That's why here in GMS, from the elder apostles on down, that's why we proclaim that we have the 100% truth. Because we're the only group out there that's actually teaching the 100% truth according to the scriptures. All these other religions and all these other dominations of religions of Christianity, they don't have the truth. The truth is just not there. This word is only for an elect few. This word is not for everybody. Alright, so verse 12, for whosoever hath to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance, but whosoever haveth not, for him shall be taken away even that he hath. Verse 13, therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing and see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do understand. Yeah, just like when we're out there on the highways and byways, they see what we're teaching, but they can't get it. They hear it, but they just can't understand it. They can't get it, because the Most High closed their spiritual eyes, that they may not get this truth. Verse 14, and in them is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah, which is Isaiah, which saith, by hearing ye shall hear, and shall not understand, and by seeing you shall see, and shall not perceive, Just like the people outside when we teach, especially our people, that come up, they just can't get this word. They just can't get what we're saying, you know. Verse 15, for this people's hearts is waxed gross, and their ears are dull of hearing, and their eyes they have closed. What are their eyes talking about? That spiritual understanding, the spiritual understanding of the truth, their spiritual insight, they're closed. The Most High closed their eyes of the spiritual insight. Least at any time they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears, and should understand with their hearts, and should be converted, and I should heal them. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. It's like the elect. When brothers are out there teaching, out there on the highways and byways, and if a brother walks by the camp and he hears this word, and he's automatically drawn to the word, he's automatically drawn and wielded in through the spirit, because that's that spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. That's that man, once he's drawn into the truth, and once he perceives this truth, and once he survives, being shaken, or, whatever tribulation that he may have in this truth, if he could survive it, that man is of the elect. That's how the elect is woken up. Verse 17, verily I say unto you, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, So the prophets back then had desired these things which we're seeing right now. Actually, those prophets are seeing it now because, we're coming back into reincarnation. Just like the book of just like Ezra, he saw the destruction of America. He saw all the things that were going to take place here in America. He saw it back then. And Ezra is back here today. That's why he said, woe is me, who should deliver me in those days? Because of reincarnation, just like Job, he said that he may not see the Lord in this body, but I'll see him in the day when he comes. What is he talking about? Reincarnation. So the prophets of old are back here today, but we just don't know who's who, So reading on, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. Verse 18, hear ye thereof the parable of the sower, which we just got into that. When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom, and understandeth it not, then cometh the wicked one, and catches them away, that which was sown in his heart. You see? It's like when a man is coming up, he's trying to get this word, he's trying to understand this, he's trying to understand it, but then, cometh the wicked one, which could be his woman, 9 times out of 10, that's how it is, the woman might pull him away from getting this truth, or, he may have his mans with him, and his mans, he's trying to get it, and his man's just telling him and pull him away. We see that happening plenty of times when we're out there teaching, So reading on, and catches away that which was sown in his heart. Then he which received seed by the wayside, you see, it fell by the wayside, because here it is that he was trying to get this word, he was trying to understand it, but whatsoever, he may, 9 times out of 10, he has his woman right there with him, and mainly it's that woman that pulls him away, So the seed that was sown into him, it fell by the wayside. Verse 20. But he that receiveth the seed into stony places, the same is he that heareth the word, and annoyed with joy rejoiceth it. Verse 21. Yet hath he not rooted in himself, but draweth for but dureth for a while. For when tribulation or persecution ariseth because of the word, by and by he is offended. See, we see that plenty of times. And it's true, for brother may come in this word, he receiveth it, but because of some tribulation that comes in for the word, he ends up falling out of the truth because he couldn't deal with the tribulations, the anguish and tribulations of the word. He couldn't deal with the pain and the sufferings of the word. So by and by he got offended and fell out of the truth. And you see that plenty of times. I'm pretty sure brothers see it all the time when they're in this truth. A brother may come in, he endure for a while, but then when that time of persecution comes up, and anguish comes up, he gets offended. He can't deal with the pressures of being in this truth. So verse 22, he also that receiveth among the thorns is he that heareth the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he become unfruitful. You see, which I got into earlier, that a man heareth this word, but because of worldly gain and worldly fashion, he wants to cling on to the worldly things and to the goods of this world. Like he'll have one foot in and one foot out of this truth. So that chokes the word, and then it becomes unfruitful because he doesn't want to be a part of the truth. Verse 23, but he that receiveth the seed into the good ground is he that heareth the word and understandeth it, which also bear fruit and bringeth forth some 100-fold, some 60-fold, and some 30-fold. That's a brother that receives the truth. He understands this word, and he goes out and brings forth fruit. He goes out and teach it and bring forth other elect men that are out there to bring him into the fold. So with that, it's only given unto the elect, but to them it's just not given. And I just went into the reasons why here. This is the reason why. Verse 13. We read the whole 13th chapter. So this is why it is given unto us, the elect men, it is given unto us to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but unto them it is just not given, because they weren't chosen from the foundations of the earth to receive this word. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahushai Bahashem, Rakwakwadush. Double honors to the head apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And peace and salutations to the Yakim out there in the highways and byways, noise in this road abroad. With that, I want to say shalom.